Crawford wants to do. He wants to get his hands on the football. Howard Fields is back there with him, but the kick comes up just a little bit short, and Rufus very alertly allows the ball to bounce out of bounds.
Well, that was close play. That just went out by a couple of inches, came back in, but Trevor Kennard will have to do it over again once again. Boy, that's got to be tough, kicking that hard, cold ball to start the game.
But, you know, that's a good play by Rufus Crawford, because field position is going to be so important throughout the entire course of this game. And you say, well, what's the big deal? 5 yards. 5 yards could be the difference in winning and losing.
Winnipeg number 3.
And they call it an illegal kickoff because the ball did go out of bounds, so Trevor Kennard will have to repeat it now.
Pat, you touched on an interesting point, field position, and we couldn't have two better kickers this afternoon than Bernie Ruoff punting for the Ticats, and of course Bob Cameron punting for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Both kickers, I think, are the two best in the league at punting when the elements are not in their favor.
Riggs, I know that yesteryear doesn't mean anything, but Hamilton has not won a game in Edmonton since 1966.
No, I know, and they've never won in this stadium, obviously, because of going back to that date, but all of that means nothing right now.
This kickoff is dribbled down to about the 35-yard line. Dave Graffey on the return for the Ticats, and that is excellent because Hamilton will take over at their 45-yard line, which is far better than they could have anticipated. All right, there's the way that the Hamilton Ticats will begin this 1984 Classic. Dieter Brock is at quarterback, and of course those are the people he'll be throwing to. The newcomer is Dwayne Jett, number 7, in place of the injured Steve Stapler, and the offensive line remains intact. First down, Ticats at their 45-yard line. Very quickly, Brock puts it up to Ron Johnson, and he is wrapped up by David Shaw. The ball comes loose. It is picked up by Frank Robinson, but it was dead at the point of impact.
Leaf, you know, not really a surprising play for Dieter to start off with, because the Winnipeg corners do lay off quite a bit from those wide receivers. I was wondering if they do that on this kind of field. I think they probably would do it even more so.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. This is the kind of a field where the defense does not want to take any chances. Have a look, Ron Johnson on that quick hitch pass, and David Shaw comes up, makes the play, but of course the ball came loose after he'd gone down.
Actually picks up a couple of yards, so it's 2nd and 8. Brock's pass is complete to the rookie, Dwayne Jett, and Jett will have the first down of this ball game as he crosses midfield, forced out by Donovan Rose.
Well, Frank, absolutely correct. Donovan Rose really giving Dwayne Jett a lot of room at that wide receiver spot. Simple curl pattern, but nice throw by Dieter Brock. Certainly the cold weather will not bother him at all.
And there's the best defensive unit in Canada. Boy, I love their linebackers. When you look at Jones, Brown, and Robinson, I can't conceive of a better core.
They haven't been bringing them so far, Pat.
There's Ty Jones. DiPietro falls on it back at the Hamilton 43-yard line.
Ty Jones, the leading sacker for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over the course of the year, and he goes just with his great speed on the outside, makes that move around to the outside. And Leaf, he's very similar to James Parker in terms of they hide him all over the place, but he uses that great quickness to try to get in there.
Hamilton should not be discouraged because Dieter was sacked more than any quarterback in the league. He went down 73 times this year, but he's capable of rebounding as they go into the shotgun. Second and long, they throw it short to Johnny Shepard, and he's forced out by Delbert Fowler, the linebacker, and we're going to have a punting situation of the ball game.
Well, that's a tough spot for any quarterback to be in, 2nd and long like that. You don't want to give up anything cheap downfield, and Dieter knows that after Bernie Ruoff's punt, they're going to have pretty good field position on a day like that. That's really important.
Leaf, 72, Fowler can really pop you too, can he?
That's a great trade I think Winnipeg made. Of course, Ken Cianconi went to Montreal. Both teams had to be pleased with that.
So Bernie Ruoff stands at his 35. Sean Keogh and Kevin Nellis are back awaiting at the Winnipeg 15. And Ruoff had some problems, so he had to get away. Then it was semi-blocked. But you see the treacherous footing as Sean Keogh falls on the ball at the 33-yard line. Ruoff just couldn't handle the pass from center cleanly. He finally did get the kick away, but nevertheless, the Blue Bombers are going to have possession at their 33-yard line when we get back.
The CFL on ESPN Classic is brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Derek Jeter, humanitarian, leader, athlete, for the Movado Precision Timepiece Series 800. The art of performance. Movado Series 800.
You can win a trip to Alexander Keith's birthday in Halifax on October 5th. Find invitations in specially marked cases of Keith's. Must be legal drinking age. No purchase necessary. Visit keiths.ca for contest entry and details.
In this world, there are spenders and savers. But can you ever meet? Yes. Because now when you spend with your Scotiabank debit card, your purchases can be rounded up. And the difference is transferred into a savings account. It's called Bank the Rest. And if you sign up now with the Scotia One account, we'll match your savings up to $100. So you spend and you save. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Play Happy Maniacs. Cool. That's impressive.
Get what you really want in the 2009 Ford Focus, starting at only $14,799.
Tom Brady, strategist, athlete, VP, for the Movado Precision Timepiece Series 800. The art of performance. Movado Series 800.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium. I'm Pat Marsden, along with Leif Pedersen and Frank Rigney. We have just begun the opening quarter of this 1984 Grey Cup Classic. Tom Clements has been the story all week. Would he play? Would he start? Or would he not be able to function? But he's got the flak jacket on, and apparently he's ready to go.
It's not really a normal flak jacket, about half the size of the normal one, just enough to give him protection in that rib area after he suffered that injury last week, but he's healthy.
Blue Bombers from their 33-yard line with a first down. This is Willard Reeves. And Reeves gets to the 36-yard line, but Leo Ezrins was there to haul him down. Ernie Afghanis?
You know, the condition of the field has made it difficult for some of the players to decide what shoe to wear. This is one of them. It's called the Shark. They have larger rubber cleats on the outside, the shallower cleat on the inside, so they're going to get double grab. It's between this shoe, the Shark, and the broom ball shoe that most of the players have decided to go with. Now back upstairs.
The pickup was 3 yards, so make it 2nd and 7, Blue Bombers. Clements pass to Sean Keogh. He's got the first down. And Keogh is forced out as he gets close to the 50 by Gerald Best, but there is a flag back in the Winnipeg offensive backfield, and somebody might have gotten to Tom Clements a little late. Let's wait and see.
Leif Kehoe made a super play in the BC Lion game in the Western Final, a 41-yard gain right after that punt that we showed you that was blocked by Lupus Agley. He had not been a big factor as a pass receiver during the year.
Winnipeg number 60.
But it does show that Tommy's prepared to use everybody.
Oh, there's no question he will use everybody because Hamilton very seldom has blitzed in the last few games. You're just going to send those front four. When they do that, everybody drops out. They've got to hit the running backs.
Chris Walby was called for holding, so negate that first down, make it 2nd and 17. Now there's that little Utah shovel that very alertly John Bonk tried to cover but could not. Mike Walker ends up with the football, and let's see who will be awarded it. Well, it simply should go as an incomplete forward pass because, of course, the ball was shoveled forward.
That's absolutely correct. Winnipeg will have to give it up, but Ticats fans, the hearts jumped a little bit. They thought they might get that fumble recovery, but sure was a forward pass.
A few hearts jumping on that Winnipeg bench, too, when you lose it down there.
Paul Bennett and Rufus Crawford are back awaiting this And 'tis a punt from Bob Cameron, who stands inside the Winnipeg 15. It's still scoreless. Good punt by Cameron. Boy, he boots so well in these kind of weather conditions. Rufus Crawford. And Rufus, the man who broke the all-time CFL record for total yardage. It was a record held by Hal Patterson, gets it out to the 47-yard line. A 47-yard boot with the return by Rufus Crawford.
Now, Rufus Crawford, our north-south runner, as we like to call him. Nothing fancy here. Gets some positive yardage, but number 37, Frank Robinson of the Bombers, really puts a lick on him.
So for the second time, the Ticats start out in excellent field position at their 45-yard line. The give is inside to Mark Bragignola, and he'll pick up about 4 yards.
That time they did bring their all-star middle linebacker, Aaron Brown, 52. Just came straight ahead on the right guard, Marv Alamang.
You know, Pat, we talk and we give so much credit to these Winnipeg linebackers. I think the best feature that they have between the 4 of them is their ability to blitz the passer. Aaron Brown, one of the best, and we know all about Ty Jones.
From the 49-yard line, it's second down. A long 6 yards to go. Brock's pass is caught by Dwayne Jett, very close to the first down marker. Now, the placement of the ball will be all important. It is a first down, Hamilton. Well, that helps when you start with good field position as they have. Let's take a look at that one again.
I think that really does show the advantage the offensive receiver has on a field like this, because he does know where he's going. He just cuts to the outside, and although Rose was right there with him, the ball thrown perfectly by Dieter.
And the ball is now in Winnipeg territory at the 53-yard line. Flag is down. The pass intended for Mark Bragignola was over his head, but we've got a holding call for Hamilton Ticats.
I think we're going to have Ralph Schultz, the left offensive tackle, that's going to be called for this. It looked like he was holding Tony Norman on the play. Norman, of course, the best rushing defensive lineman on that front 4 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Holding Hamilton, number 63. First down.
Well, they call Alamang the right offensive guard. Take a look at Schultz at the bottom of your screen right there. It appeared to me that he was holding Tony Norman, number 55.
Hamilton, of course, wants to score some points, but they want this to be a low-scoring ball game. They figure they can win a close one if it's low-scoring. Pass for Ron Johnson. He couldn't hang on. Goes as an incomplete pass. But there was excellent coverage by David Shaw, who really is one of the outstanding corners in football.
Well, there's the 10-year veteran from Prairie View A&M, a former teammate of mine, and game in and game out, he does a great job on that corner. All Canadian this year, and comes up, makes the hits, and just does everything well.
He's going to let him have that little hitch pass and plenty of those receivers out there, isn't he?
Well, he's going to just hang back there and wait for it.
It's second down, 20 yards to go. The ball at the Hamilton 46-yard line. Here they come. And Brock goes deep. Rocky DiPietro makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. He got in behind Ken Haley, and Hamilton has the first really big play of this ball game. Rocky DiPietro, who caught the most passes on either of these clubs, 71 this year.
Well, good read by Dieter Brock. He saw the blitz coming, sent DiPietro down deep. The former All-Canadian Shenley winner makes just a fabulous catch.
And so the Ticats will have the first scoring opportunity. They put it into play at the Winnipeg 23-yard line. Brock's pass intended for Ron Johnson goes out of bounds. But as coaches like to say, they're within range of 3 right now. Let's not foul that up. Let's not take any losses, no penalties. And the worst we can come out of this is 3 points if Bernie Ruoff, who has been the hottest kicker in football of late, can come through.
Well, and I think that's in the back of Dieter Brock's mind when he gets into this kind of field position, to know that he's got such a great kicker coming off the bench.
8 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in the opening quarter. It's still scoreless. Brock down the middle again. A big catch by Rocky DiPietro. Again, Ken Haley was there on the coverage.
Well, I tell you, Pat, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are getting caught a couple of times on these blitzes. They're bringing everybody. Watch their linebackers as they bring them all on this play, trying to get in there. And Dieter is dropping far enough back, which is sometimes a problem, finding his receiver, DiPietro, right over the middle once again. A good job by a much maligned offensive line of the Ticats.
Hey, you know, Riggs, you bring up some good points. Hamilton has some outstanding football players. Dieter Brock threw more passes, more completions than anybody in the CFL this year. They've got guys who led the league in pass interceptions. Rocky DiPietro caught 71 passes, and he showed you why with the 2 receptions in this drive. First down, Ticats. The ball at the Winnipeg 13. This is Rufus Crawford, and Rufus will lose yardage back to about the 15-yard line as Aaron Brown was there to haul him down.
Pat, I'll tell you, a guy that really made that play, though, was Robinson, number 37. You'll see him as he comes out here. If we start this play up, he does not make the tackle, but watch him turn everything back in. Stop it right there. Watch Robinson, number 37. He does not make the stop, as I said, but he takes on a couple of the Ticat blockers and allows Brown to come in behind him.
So the loss was a couple. It is 2nd and 12. Hamilton at the Winnipeg 15. Touchdown, Dieter Brock. What a start for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And of course the knock on Dieter is that he doesn't run that much, that he isn't that agile back there. He runs it in from 15 yards out, and the underdogs are up by 6.
Well, excellent coverage downfield, and Dieter Brock just couldn't get it down to anybody, so tucks it under his arm, and what a super run to get the Ticats off to a great start.
Bernie Ruoff's point after is good. That should not come as a surprise. He was the Eastern Conference All-Star kicker and punter, and he has given the Hamilton Ticats a 7-0 lead with 6:57 left to play in the quarter.
This will get a run home, maybe more. Mosby going back, up, out of here, and into the black seats, the hitting background. There aren't many leadoff men who can launch one like that to dead center field. Canseco bids for the 2nd homer of the inning. If it's fair, he's got it. And it settles into the upper deck.
Oh, my goodness.
A double by Weiss and a pair of monumental homers from Ricky Henderson and Canseco.
Harvey's ongoing search to make Canada's best-tasting burger even tastier. Us to Brandon in Ottawa.
Hey, what about adding Canadian back bacon?
You're a genius, Brandon. Canadian back bacon with...
let's go with mustard, tomatoes, and pickles.
Anything for the man who helped make Canada's best-tasting burger even tastier. At Harvey's, there's a burger with your name on it.
Harvey's makes your hamburger a beautiful thing.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Well, I think Dieter's got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers a bit on edge right now, Leaf, because they blitzed him a couple of times in a row, and he found DiPietro for completions, and they just tried to bring 4 people that time, and it opened up a big lane right down the middle, and Dieter knew what to do with it.
I guarantee you one thing. When he got to the 1-yard line, nobody was going to stop him.
That's for sure.
Bernie Ruoff is set to kick it off. And he just tops it down to about the 24-yard line. Aaron Brown with the return for the Blue Bombers out over the 30 to about the 33. Ed Gadavakis tripped him up at that point, but not bad strategy again by the Ticats. Why give Willard Reeves an opportunity to run it back? Let Aaron Brown do it himself. Well, our Darch who's spotting here this afternoon for me, just pointed out, reminiscent a little bit of 1981. The Ottawa Rough Riders jumped out in front of the Edmonton Eskimos. Could we have a repeat here today? Let's watch and see. Clemens' pass is picked up by Felix Wright. Felix Wright, the man who put the Hamilton Ticats in the Grey Cup, does it again right now as he intercepts Tom Clemens at the Winnipeg 35-yard line.
Well, Pat, he just did an excellent job. What they've been doing so well in the past few games is just sit back in that zone coverage, and they've got the necessary reaction time to get to that football. He sees Tommy going to the back, coming out of the backfield, comes out, but no doubt about that interception.
I think that ball floated a little bit. I just wonder if Tommy's rib injury is negating him being able to put something on that football. He's up there for an awful long time.
Ticats from the Winnipeg 35. They throw the screen. This is Bragg-Ignola. He had a lot of problems getting his footing, but you can't deny his determination because look at him drive inside the 25, the 22-yard line. And that'll be another Hamilton first down.
Well, that's a super job by the former University of Toronto fullback Mark Bragg-Ignola, but a good call by Dieter Brock to try and nullify that pass rush. Just throw the screen, let those linemen get by you. Now Bragg's got some running room, does a good job to keep his feet there.
Ball is at the 22 of the Blue Bombers. First down, Hamilton. They lead at 7-0. And this is the draw to Johnny Shepard. Boy, these guys are determined today. As Shepard is inside the 15 to the 14, he'll have a pickup of about 8 yards as we go to Ernie Affiganis.
Felix right here. Felix on the interception. Are you guys playing something different down a different type of zone?
Well, we're trying to keep them off balance, play a little zone, a little man, switch them up, not let them know what we're in.
Everybody seems to be very fired up here. I think there's a little animosity here.
Oh, with us, the Ticats, we don't have anything to lose, none at all.
Okay, good luck to you.
Okay, I'm all dead.
That's what we thought at the start of the game. The Ticats are loose. This is Bragg-Ignola reaching for the 12-yard line, which is where the first down marker is. And we've got a timeout called by referee Ross Perrier as he takes a look at the sidelines and he signals that he wants the yardsticks to be brought in. 4:59 left to play in the opening quarter. The Hamilton Ticats, winners of 6 of their last 7 games against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who won 5 more games during the regular season than they did.
Well, it doesn't mean a darn thing now because it's a one-game shot that, you know, Hamilton's going to make the best of this opportunity.
Okay, it's third and about a foot to go.
Any possibility of Dieter putting it in the air?
None at all. He'll carry the ball himself and get the first down because I've never seen him miss in a situation like this. If he puts it up, you're doing the play-by-play.
All right, throw it deep. Keep your...
He carries it himself and would appear to have the first down and does. And the other aspect that we should not lose sight of, Hamilton is keeping the ball away from that Winnipeg offense by controlling it themselves here.
We talked about the footing, Leaf, and the offensive line of the Hamilton Ticats looked like they were having no problem there. They got off the ball very wrong.
First down, Hamilton. The ball is at the Winnipeg 12-yard line. Brock quickly to Dwayne Jett. And Jett gets inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. Scott Flegel and Donovan Rose combine on the tackle. Pickup will be close to 5 yards.
Well, if Donovan Rose is going to consistently stay deep on Dwayne Jett, they can throw that kind of pass pattern and pick up some good positive yardage on first down.
3 minutes and 45 seconds left to play in the opening quarter. Ham 7-0 and trying to increase that margin right now. Brock puts it up. Touchdown, Rocky DiPietro.
He picked him, Leaf.
No call. Rocky DiPietro has been a big man in this football game. He set up that opening touchdown and now scores this one himself.
Well, Pat, what happened? Dwayne Jett came down in motion and picked off Ken Haley, who was supposed to have man-to-man coverage on Rocky DiPietro. That's an easy touchdown for him.
Bernie Ruoff's point after is good once again. If you've just joined us, hang on to your hat. The Hamilton Ticats are out in front of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 14-0, and we'll be back with the kickoff.
New Ultima. I hear they're pretty cheap these days.
They're not cheap. They're inexpensive. You cut your own hair. That's cheap.
You'll get passionate about new prices on every Nissan model, like the Altima, now from $22,698. See your Nissan retailer today.
People think life in California is one big vacation. It's really a lot of work.
We have board meetings.
Board meetings! Lots of board meetings. We're always playing catch-up.
We're really just a bunch of pencil pushers.
We work with some real characters.
We're always working weekends.
We burn the midnight oil.
Hey, it's a dirty job.
But someone's got to do it. So if California seems like your kind of work...
We've got one question.
When can you start?
California. Find yourself here.
All right. Who ate my volcano taco?
Don't look at me.
Introducing Taco Bell's new Volcano Taco. With its spicy lava sauce and red taco shell, it tastes even hotter than it looks.
Was me.
Feel the heat. Think outside the bun. For more heat to eat, get the Big Bell box meal.
We don't need multiple shipping companies to do one job. As VP Operations, I say we make things easier and use FedEx for everything.
As Senior VP Operations, I agree.
As Executive Senior VP Operations, I concur. Wilfred?
You gotta stay lean and mean. FedEx it is.
Here, here. Bravo, sir.
That's why he's the Chief Deputy Executive Senior VP Operations, Northern Hemisphere.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Three minutes, 36 seconds left to play in the opening quarter. Hamilton 14, Winnipeg nothing. And we're ready for the kickoff as we take a look one more time at the touchdown play.
What a factor Rocky's been in this ball game already. His third reception right in front of Donovan Rose, and 14-0 lead by the Ticats.
Bernie Ruoff slips as he kicks the football. Scott Flagel handles it at the 38-yard line, crosses the 40 and fights his way to about the 44. Ruoff came up to the ball, and just as he was striking it, his foot slipped. Ernie?
Rocky DiPietro, the entire Hamilton team is off to an amazing start, Rocky. This is a great, you didn't expect anything like this, did you?
Yes, I'll tell you, we came out, nobody was cheering for us. We know we got a couple fans in there, but we got to do it for ourselves. And we're ready right now. They're good. They're a good football team, though. It's going to take more than 14 points.
Thanks, Rocky.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, upstairs now.
So from the 44-yard line, Tom Clements on the move. Fires it out to Sean Keogh, and Keogh will have a Winnipeg first down up very close to midfield at about the 54-yard line before Felix Wright was able to get over and force him out of bounds.
Well, Riggs, that's a good offensive scheme for the Bombers because they put Boyd and Murphy to one side, send them deep, clear everybody out, and then they can dump it off to the running back out of the backfield. He's got some extra room.
And they rule that he stepped out just in front of that yardstick, so make it second down and inches to go for the first down. Tom keeps it himself as Clements crosses midfield into Hamilton territory, and that'll be their chance at the football on Hamilton's side of midfield. And it comes with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in this first quarter. Field position has been the key thing. Hamilton took over twice at their 45, and then the next time they made the pass interception and took over at the 35. Pat Cantner has gone onto the field of play, but now Tom Clements has gone down on one knee, and we're going to have the training staff come out and attend to him as Tommy comes over to check with Pat Clayton.
Well, John Hufnagel obviously didn't see Tommy go down. He was still sitting on the bench. He's just now taking off his wrap and slipping on his helmet. I don't think the Bomber staff are going to have much of a chance to talk to him.
Trevor Kennard will try the 25-yard field goal, puts it up, and it is good. on what is the final play of the first quarter. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers get on the board, but the Hamilton Tigers surprised everybody. They lead it 14-3, and we'll be back shortly.
ESPN Classic is vintage cool. Call your local cable or satellite provider to order today.
Hello, I'm a Mac. And I'm a PC, here with good news for anyone who's ever been frustrated by Vista.
Oh, you're fixing the problems.
No, I'm making them easier to live with my new line of calming teas. There's Crashy Time Chamomile, just the thing to soothe the nerves after a Vista-related crash. Or if Vista's making your applications run slow, there's Pomegranate Patience. Now, mornings are raspberry restart time for me.
That's great, PC.
Also afternoons, but...
We should move on.
Yes, let's move on, Mac, to my line of Vista stress-relieving bath salts.
ESPN Classic is going old school as we present the superstars of the American Wrestling Association. Join us in the Squared Circle every Wednesday and witness the cavalcade of grapplers who honed their skills in the AWA. You'll see the likes of Nick Bockwinkel, Kurt Hennig, Scott Hall, and Shawn Michaels, along with a colorful cast of characters.
We're the guys who make trains take dirt roads.
AWA Wrestling Classics every Wednesday, only on ESPN Classic. You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Pat Marsden, Lee Pedersen, and Frank Rigney watching the Hamilton Ticats leading the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 14-3 as we begin play here in quarter number 2. The Ticats have elected to take the ball at their 35, and so they have a first down at that point. This is Johnny Shepard trying to get to the outside. Boy, you just cannot get any footing, and there was such excellent contain by that entire unit as Delbert Fowler, Aaron Brown, Ken Haley, they just wouldn't let him get to the outside.
I'll tell you what, they're fired up. Did you see Brown over the sideline? Wow.
Well, there's what happened.
They're going to come back.
In the first quarter of play, surprisingly, doubling the total offense 112-51, and look at Dieter Brock, 9 out of 11 in the passing. Second down, it'll be 15 to go. That's how many yards Shepard lost, 5 of them. They throw the quick screen to Dwayne Jett, but the ball goes right through his hands. And now, all of a sudden, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers starting to exert themselves defensively, and that will enable their offense to get half-decent field position after this punt.
Well, Pat, I think the key really in that first quarter and here on this first series in the second quarter is not to get yourself in trouble on first down. Each time both offenses have had second and long situations, they have not been able to convert. They've got to start getting that positive yardage on first down if they want to move the football.
So on 3rd and 15, Bernie Ruoff is set to punt, but the flag will come down. We'll have a time count violation of the Hamilton Ticats.
That was one of the few times, Leif, that Hamilton Ticats tried to run the ball on first down, and that's why they put themselves in such bad position. They, of course, lost 4 yards.
Scott Flagel rushed over and had a chat with head coach Cal Murphy.
Well, you know, they got called for the time count.
Hamilton, number 10.
As you hear Ross Perrier explain that, but I think they're a little nervous about Winnipeg because they're so famous for blocking punts. They want to make sure everybody's got their assignment right.
And Bernie has had trouble handling the footing on the field. So let's see what he does here on 3rd and 20. Gets an excellent pass from center. And the kick is away. Bouncing down to Nellis. And Wayne Lee runs into him at the Winnipeg 53-yard line, and that's where the Blue Bombers are going to put it into play offensively when we come back.
ESPN Classic is going old school with the American Wrestling Association. Join us in the Squared Circle every Wednesday and remember the superstars you came to love as well as the jobbers you never heard of.
270 pounds, Paul Garner.
Thomas, Pittman, Clement, Fields, Robert Burrows, Frankie DeFalco.
He is Pete Sanchez.
AWA Wrestling Classics every Wednesday only on ESPN Classic.
What a day for a daydream.
People go out of their way to feel protected. With TD Insurance, you don't have to worry.
What a day for a daydreaming boy.
Because we make it easy to protect yourself from the accidents of life. Get the insurance you need from the people you trust. TD Insurance. Home, auto, life, health.
It's a sweet science. When the bell tolls, I bring it on. Intimidate with strength and power. Dazzle with speed and skill. Going the distance on pure will and determination. In this ring, I stand alone. To contend or defend, I fight for the thrill, pride, honor, my country, and the love of the game. I fight to be the best and never forgotten. This is my fight. Listen, Center.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
We've got 10 minutes, 2 seconds left to play in the first half. The Hamilton Ticats have surprised the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and lead at 17-6. And now Hamilton will get the ball back because they have elected to make the Blue Bombers kick off from their 35-yard line. Rufus Crawford and Paul Bennett are deep for Hamilton. Puts it high. Crawford on the run, takes it at the 25-yard line and steps out of bounds right at that point.
Pat, that was rather expensive because after Kennard's first field goal, the Hamilton Ticats took the ball at the 35-yard line. This time they only get to the 25.
That's a great kick by Trevor Kennard. Also, that 46-yard field goal in these kind of conditions was a tremendous kick, but question, he angled that ball towards the sidelines and did a great job.
Good job by Dieter Brock so far, as you see, 10 out of 15 in completions. And this time, though, he needs a couple of first downs. Fires it for Braganola, but it was behind him. He tried to bring it down with one hand and could not.
I believe they're taking a page out of the Winnipeg Blue Bomber book, exactly the same kind of pattern that Winnipeg has had their limited success on, taking people deep and running out of the backfield. You'll see the receivers coming out and trying to hit that flat area. That has been Winnipeg's favorite pass pattern.
Well, he couldn't connect with Mark Braganola, but it just goes to show you what we talked about earlier. They're trying to get some good yardage on first down and not find themselves in long passing situations.
So Brock goes back to the shotgun once again. And now fires looking for Crawford, and this one is picked off by David Shaw. David Shaw with the first turnover for the Blue Bombers, and he will give Winnipeg possession at the Hamilton 28-yard line. Crawford is still down. Crawford was the intended pass receiver. David Shaw just stepped in front at the last moment.
Well, he caught them in a 3-deep zone. That's the kind of pass pattern to run down the seams. But David Shaw, the 10-year veteran, read it perfectly, left his man, reacted to the football, and he's got the Bombers in great scoring position.
Scott Flagel was the one who put the lick on Rufus Crawford, and Crawford is still down.
But, you know, that was a great test because that was the right pass pattern to call against that defense. It's just that David Shaw just did an outstanding job.
As you look at Rufus Crawford, let me remind you once again that this man had a Canadian Football League record this year for total yardage, eclipsing a mark that had been established by one of the all-time greats, Hal Patterson. And now the Blue Bombers are back in business. We've got 9 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Hamilton leads it 17-6, but the Blue Bombers can really narrow the gap right now. First down at the Hamilton 28-yard line. The draw goes to Willard Reeves. And Reeves is down to about the 21 by Grover Covington, who cut the legs out from under him. Al?
David Shaw, defensive corner, great interception. David, tell me about it.
Thank you. Who was in the cover 3? I got the deep third, and it ran what's called a seam route. I played a lot outside. He thought he had it open, and he kind of laid the ball in instead of zipping it and gave him a chance to come around and get the ball.
Could be a key play. You got to turn this around, eh?
I hope so. I'm trying my best.
Okay.
This is Willard Reeves down to the 15-yard line. He'll have a Winnipeg first down.
Great job by that offensive line, firing off the football now for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Big Nick Mastaya, number 65, leading the way that time.
Frank Rigney, you played in some of the great Grey Cup games between these two teams, and this one is shaping up to be just that again.
First one I ever played in, Pat, we fell behind 14-0 in about 3 minutes against the Ticats.
They swing it out to Sean Keogh. Keogh gets by Esmonds and is inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line.
Boy, are they effectively, both teams, using those backs coming out of the backfield.
Well, Tommy Clements, being the veteran quarterback that he is, if the Ticats are not going to blitz and they're going to drop everybody off, well, heck, I'm just going to throw it out to my running back, Sean Kehoe, and if he can get by someone, he's got a big gain. He gets by Leo Esmonds right here, and they're on the move.
He's got footing there. He might have scored.
Poplawski and House are out of there. Vernon Paul and Pat Kantner are in at short yardage offense. First down. Willard Reeves, the ball carrier. Touchdown, Blue Bombers. There is a flag on the play. Let's wait and see if Willard Reeves' touchdown stands. It appeared as though the Ticats were offside. Here's the call. Offside, Hamilton. The touchdown by Willard Reeves will stand.
Pat, you talked about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers bringing in their short yardage offense. Watch the block by Vernon Paul, the only guy in the Canadian Football League that I know of from the University of PEI. He just stacks it up right at the left side. Kehoe hardly has to make a block for Reeves to get in the end zone.
The point after by Kennard is good. And so, with 7 minutes and 32 seconds left of second quarter of what has been just a terrific football game, the Hamilton Ticats are now clinging to a 17-13 lead. It was 17-3 at one time.
Well, I'm impressed, Frank, with the way the Blue Bombers have come back. They fell behind early, but really, Tommy Clements, and you know what's done it? I think field position. He's been able to operate with excellent field position.
Now the 2-2. Well hit down the left field line. Way back in.
It's Deja Blue all over again. ESPN Classic is the place to be as we relive the entire 1993 World Series. Witness all 6 unforgettable games between the Blue Jays and Phillies in one glorious day. Deja Blue, the 93 World Series run of the Toronto Blue Jays, Sunday, beginning at noon Eastern, only on ESPN Classic.
Play Happy Maniacs. Cool. That's impressive.
Get what you really want in the 2009 Ford Focus, starting at only $14,799.
Here you go. Thank you, Mr. Hines. I'll be right back with your check.
How often you check your credit? Chances are, less than you need to. Not a good idea these days. Your identity could be stolen faster than you can say heartburn.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. Come back and see us again soon. Thank you.
So keep an eye on yours all year long with 24/7 credit monitoring from transunion.ca. Stay you.
ESPN Classic is vintage cool. Call your local cable or satellite provider to order today.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
This is Willard Reeves. Reeves is inside the 45 to about the 44. Leo Ezrins. And also Leon Lescavage was in there.
Little misdirection play with the mountain man coming down from Mulvey from his right tackle position. 280 pounds. And I don't know if you noticed him out there, Pat, but he has no sleeves on at all. He didn't even think it's cool.
Anyway, he's a house that runs.
Second down and a long 5 yards to go. Clemens over the middle to Reeves. Reeves has the first down to the Hamilton 35-yard line. Leo Ezrins chopped him down at that point.
Well, what they do is cross the running back, Sean Keogh and Willard Reeves. That freezes the linebackers just enough. There's an opening across there, and once again, Tom Clemens putting another drive together.
First down, Winnipeg at the Hamilton 35. Clemens complete to Rick House. House has the first down. Hurdles his way to about the 16-yard line. Felix Wright finally brings him down, but it's another big gain for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers of 19 yards.
Good time to throw the football for Tommy Clements. You know, Leaf, I think you were right, and I wasn't. I don't think there's anything wrong with Clements' arm. He was just getting rid of that ball a little slow. His timing was off because he delivered that one.
Well, he stepped up in the pocket, and the key was, as you said, the time to throw.
Willard Reeves on first down. And Reeves is into about the 12-yard line. He'll have a pickup of about 4. Leo Ezrins and Grover Covington were there to bring him down. But, you know, the great composure shown by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is one of the impressive factors here in this second quarter. They trailed, but they didn't panic, and now they're on the verge of taking the lead for the first time in the ballgame. They have second down and 6 to go. Hamilton 12. There was movement by the Ticats. Clemens fires complete to Joe Poplawski. Touchdown, Winnipeg. It was offside. Hamilton, the touchdown will stand, and the Blue Bombers have the lead for the very first time. This is Grey Cup 84 from Edmonton.
To master the great outdoors, the pros choose Husqvarna for exceptional power, performance, and precision. Now you too can master your great outdoors with professionally proven Husqvarna. Find your servicing dealer at Husqvarna.ca.
Richard takes it, slips a check, and now the rocket is off. He passes off to Gretzky, who cuts to the outside corner and behind the net. He's waiting. Richard cuts to the inside of the slot for the pass. He shoots, he scores! Richard from
Imagine
Gretzky.
two of the best together. Invesco and Trimark together. Look forward to global investment opportunities you never thought possible.
What happens when designers imagine a refined sedan? While engineers craft a powerful sports car. What happens? You get something better than both. Introducing the all-new Nissan Maxima, the four-door sports car.
Korea Sparkling. To master the great outdoors, the pros choose Husqvarna for exceptional power, performance, and precision. Now you too can master your great outdoors with professionally proven Husqvarna. Find your servicing dealer at husqvarna.ca.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Trevor Kennard's point after was good. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are out in front for the very first time. A count of 20-17 with 3:02 left to play in this second quarter. It's been a terrific football game.
Well, I tell you what, Pat, this crowd, which is primarily Western, of course, was very quiet in the first quarter of this ball game. It is no longer, but it's great to see veteran quarterbacks, how effectively they use their passing game. Watch Joe Pavelski as he comes down and across, and the amazing thing about this pattern, a very difficult one for the linebackers to cover, but Tommy Clements had a guy pulling him down as he delivered the football. Watch Joe come underneath. Stuff it right there, and you'll see 71. Joe right here being covered by a linebacker, a very difficult thing to do.
Well, it sure is. That's Leo Esmerance, and he just can't stay with him, Frank. And it's a good block to spring him finally into the end zone.
I'll tell you, a man who's been very important in this game is Trevor Kennard, particularly on his kickoffs, because he has kept Hamilton on the sideline. This time he kicks it deep to Crawford at his 6. And Crawford is upended as he gets over the 20 to about the 23. Tyrone Jones was there to cut him. But the entire first quarter, the Ticats had excellent field position. As a result, they were able to capitalize and score some points. This second quarter, Winnipeg has enjoyed that field position, and they are the ones who have gotten on the scoreboard.
Well, Frank, I think this is really a critical series of downs for the Ticats because they've seen the momentum slip away from them. They've got to try and reestablish something.
Flood formation to the right.
The screen to Dwayne Jett. Jett gets to the 25 or 26-yard line for a pickup of about 4. Delbert Fowler, number 72, brought him down. Fowler, of course, previously with Montreal, he ended up going to the Blue Bombers in the deal that sent Ken Cianconi to the Concords.
Well, a play that's so popular with every club in the CFL this year. Quick screen to the wide receiver, try and get a couple of blocks and break him free, but he was only managed 3 yards.
Over the middle, a flag comes down. Interference will be the call on Scott Flagel. And there is no doubt about that when he came right over the intended receiver, Rocky DiPietro.
That's all right, though, Pat. I'll tell you what, he's an aggressive safety. He'll come up and try to knock that football down. That's going to happen once in a while. But I wouldn't, if I was a coach, I wouldn't tell him to lay off a bit.
No, but I'll tell you, Hamilton is delighted with the call, too, because they need
keep the ball alive. That's right. 2:34 remaining now in this first half.
They have possession at their 33-yard line with a first down. Brock is drilled. The ball comes loose. It is picked up, and it is alive. Touchdown, Stan McCowis, number 75. Tyrone Jones got through to hit quarterback Dieter Brock. The ball was picked up by the nose guard, Stan McCowis, and he goes all the way for the major score.
You know, Leaf, once again, Dieter Brock trying to take advantage of those cornerbacks of Winnipeg playing so deep. Watch Donovan Rose down at the bottom of your screen. What he doesn't see is the other 2 defenders moving up to the outside. They cut off any path to throw the football out there, and just as he's about to deliver it, he gets a shot from the back. Well, he had a big play for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
He had to wait that extra split second, and that afforded Tyrone Jones the opportunity to come in and put the hit on him.
Trevor Kennard's point after is good once again, but the roof has fallen in on the Hamilton Ticats here in the second quarter. And now the Blue Bombers lead it by 10, 27-17. And let's take a look at it again, fellas.
Well, you watch him waiting. That extra split sec. Jones with the hit. Stan McCowis, a happy young defensive lineman. Not too often you get a chance to cross that goal line with the ball in your hands.
Certainly not in a Grey Cup, but it was a change up of the defense by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I think it allowed them to get in on Brock.
Derek Jeter, humanitarian, leader, athlete for the Movado Precision Timepiece Series 800. The art of performance. Movado Series 800.
New Ultima. I hear they're pretty cheap these days.
They're not cheap. They're inexpensive. You cut your own hair. That's cheap.
You'll get passionate about new prices on every Nissan model, like the Altima, now from $22,698. See your Nissan retailer today.
It's a story. The best part about hockey are the stories, the drama.
That's a major league collision right there.
And you create it. Oh! I'm a sucker for drama. What can I say?
Rated everyone 10 and up. Console now starting at $199.
Casino. Inter Casino.
Tom Brady, strategist, athlete, MVP for the Movado Precision Timepiece Series 800. The art of performance. Movado Series 800.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Brock passes inside to Bragagnola, and he gets out over the 10 to about the 11. That's an important gain because at least it gives them some breathing room. They pick up 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Well, the key once again, when you're backed up like this, just don't give up that football, as what happened on the last series. Don't fumble, don't throw an interception, and if the worst thing you have to do is punt, well, then that's not too bad.
Down, 2 yards to go. Will they run it with Bragagnola?
There's
a
confusion back there for sure.
Absolutely. They'll be punting now because the backs went one way. Peter had to end up keeping the ball and slipped down at the 10.
Guys, didn't it look like Brock was not just on that down, but on the first down as well? He was having trouble communicating to his offensive team.
There's no question the crowd noise in Commonwealth Stadium certainly picked up with the resurgence of the Bombers, but last time Crawford came in motion like that, they pitched it back to him. The whole play just got fouled up.
Winnipeg's going to have at least another minute and a half to try to add to their lead in this first half.
Bernie Ruoff is inside his goal area to punt here on 3rd and 4.
And he's going to be kicking off that painted area down there that is really the slipperiest part of the field.
This one is handled by Keogh. And Keogh is inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. And but for Mark Bragagnola, who made the tackle, Keogh would have gone the distance.
You have to give the Winnipeg Blue Bombers credit. They've done the things necessary in this first half to succeed because they put 3 men back to field that punt, so it's not going to hit the ground. Sean Keogh, normally not the punt returner out there, but he made the catch and an excellent return.
Football is such a wonderful game, though. It can turn around so quickly. There it was, 14-0 in the first quarter. Hamilton leading, and now the Blue Bombers are threatening to blow them away. First down at the 8-yard line. The give is to Willard Reeves. But Reeves will be dropped for a loss by Felix Wright back at about the 12 or 13-yard line. That'll be a loss of close to 5 yards.
And Pat, I want fans across Canada to know that at the commercial break at 17-3, you turned to me and said, "You guys out west don't really play it very tough this time of year, do you?"
I just tried to light a little fire under there.
I think Pat,
you did a good job.
I think Pat was hoping you'd forget that one.
So let's see what Clemens goes to now on 2nd 13 yards to go for the touchdown. Throws it into the middle. Touchdown. No, they say that he dropped the football. Jeff Boyd is really irate. He felt that he had made the catch. Now we've got a little shoving going on. Boyd is number 70. Tommy really bought some time by rolling out, waiting to the last moment. He fired it into the end zone, but it's ruled an incompleted pass.
Well, from the look at it, I honestly believe he was going for number 21, James Murphy, but Jeff Boyd got in the way, or Murphy slipped down. And let's see if we can catch it from this camera
I
angle.
think Murphy went down. I really do, Leaf. I think you're right.
So we will have a field goal try by Trevor Kennard of about 19 yards.
As he had an afternoon so far, perfect in the field goal department and just doing a great job of pinning Hamilton on with his kickoff.
And again, Trevor Kennard is good. And so with 57 seconds left to play in the second quarter, the Winnipeg Blue Bomber lead is now 13 points. It's 30-17.
Well, let's go back and have one more look at that attempted pass completion to number 70, Jeff Boyd, working across the field. Sees Tom Clements in trouble. Now, you folks at home be the judge. There comes the ball. It's bobbled in, comes loose. That's a great call by the officials.
The officials really done an outstanding job in handling this football game. Hasn't been that tough to do because there haven't been that many controversial calls. But, boy, they've been on top of everything. Mind you, that's why they're working in this ball game, because they're the best. And again, the Ticats are going to ask the Blue Bombers to kick it off.
I'd take that ball to 35.
Oh, I would too.
They haven't been up that far for an awful long time.
Well, they've made a bit of an adjustment, putting Johnny Shepard back in that deep area where Trevor Kennard has been kicking the ball. There's Rufus Crawford over there as well, but they've got to try and defend again. That's turned into an offensive weapon.
Boy, this ball game's going, though, Pat. They're liable to run it all the way back. This is back and forth. 47 points.
Again, this is Rufus Crawford from his 18-yard line. And this time he for the 35 to about the 37. So with just 52 seconds left to play in the second quarter, you've got to think that Dieter is going to try to air it out.
Oh, sure. He wants to try and get some points back. He's seen that lead slip away. And Cal, you've got to be pleased. Your team's come back, and they're playing super football right now. Tommy Clements, well, he's had a good first half, too. A couple of interceptions early, but certainly atoned for those.
The screen is set up for Johnny Shepard. Shepard with some good running gets to the 49-yard line for a Hamilton first down before he's brought down by Frank Robinson. It was 14-3 at the end of the first quarter for Al Bruno and his Hamilton Ticats, but right now it's 30-17. Blue Bombers are out in front of the Ticats with 40 seconds left to play in the quarter. This is Mark Bragignola. And Braggs has no, he's brought down after a pickup of about a yard.
Well, he was trying to get out of bounds to kill that clock, but Delbert Fowler and Donovan Rose did a good job to keep him in bounds.
And Don Whitman has just pointed out to me that those 27 Winnipeg points in this second quarter is a Grey Cup record, most points ever scored in a quarter. The flag is down as the pass is caught by Dwayne Jett out of bounds. There is a marker on the field.
Well, Dwayne Jett was offside. That's what the marker's down for. Second time in this game that he's jumped offside.
Well, it's nice to be enthusiastic, but it's no good if you're going to get penalized for it.
Offside, Hamilton, number 7. Declined, third down.
So with just 26 seconds left to play in the quarter, and third and about 8 yards to go, Bernie Ruoff and the Hamilton punting unit comes out. And this time, the Blue Bombers 3 men deep. Scott Flagel now joins Sean Keogh and Kevin Nellis.
A little surprising they're not going after Ruoff, although there's only 26 seconds remaining in the first half.
Well, I think they're thinking, don't let Bernie throw it or run it, too.
Oh, Bernie dropped it.
He missed the football when he went to kick it. Now he does get it away. Nellis picks it up and goes down inside his 20 at about the 18-yard line. Well, you don't see that too often.
No. I'd like to see what Bernie did there.
Well, I think we're gonna get a chance to have a look at it again. Bernie just said, well, I'm gonna kick it. No, I'm not gonna kick it.
Oh, he slipped. Yeah. He slipped and couldn't get his foot up there to hit it.
He does a pretty good job to get back outside and eventually get it away.
Twice he's had problems kicking the ball on his first punt, but he's really gotten it away very well on the 2 occasions.
So the Blue Bombers start from their 18-yard line. They won't be fancy here. They're just going to run out this clock, and why not? Because they've had such a sensational second quarter. They had all that adversity in the first 15 minutes and now scored 27 points in this second quarter of play to have a comfortable 13-point lead at the half.
Well, it's the mark of a championship team, Pat. You know that. Just to be patient and wait for your opportunities, because sooner or later you're going to get them.
And that's it, the end of the second quarter of play, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have shown why they are the Western champions. At the end of the first half, the score, Winnipeg 30, Hamilton 17. We'll be back with our halftime show in just a moment.
Nissan Versa. It makes driving fun.
Harvey's ongoing search to make Canada's best-tasting burger even tastier led us to Brandon in Ottawa.
Hey, what about adding Canadian back bacon?
You're a genius, Brandon. Canadian back bacon with...
let's go with mustard, tomatoes, and pickles.
Anything for the man who helped make Canada's best-tasting burger even tastier. At Harvey's, there's a burger with your name on it.
Harvey's makes your hamburger a beautiful thing.
Here you go. Thank you, Mr. Hines. I'll be right back with your check.
How often you check your credit? Chances are, less than you need to. Not a good idea these days. Your identity could be stolen. You can say heartburn.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. Come back and see us again soon. Thank you.
So keep an eye on yours all year long with 24/7 credit monitoring from transunion.ca. Stay you.
There's an unwritten code in Canada. If you live by it, chances are you've left your coat on some pile and knew it wouldn't get stolen. You've never made a move on your buddy's girlfriend. You know that on a road trip, the strongest bladder determines the pit stops. You've kept all your hockey trophies. You've replaced someone's pint if you knock theirs over. If your buddy's in trouble, you've got his back. You clap for the dancer even though she shouldn't be a dancer. You've used a blowtorch to curve your stick. You've used your arm as an ice scraper, and you've grown a beard in the postseason. This is our beer, Molson Canadian.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Starting the second, Trevor Kenner trying to kick the ball into that hole as he did so well during the first half. This time, however, it bounces out of bounds in front of Rufus Crawford. Leo, as we were watching the first half, you made a comment about the job Trevor Kenner has done on those kickoffs.
He certainly has. He's placed the ball well, and the luck of the roll, Rufus Crawford on a couple occasions waited until the last moment to field the ball, and then just because of the field conditions, he had to slip and slide and go out of bounds, and it gave Hamilton real bad field position. They got themselves in the hole a couple times, and Winnipeg capitalized on it.
Well, it's interesting that 3 Winnipeg players born in Edmonton, Sean Kehoe, Joe Poplawski, and Trevor Kennard, have all played a key role so far for Winnipeg. Dieter Brock will have to get that right arm going in the second half if the Ticats are to come back. Again, they kick it into that same spot to Rufus Crawford. Crawford trying to come down those sidelines. He got a couple of blocks and fought his way to the 40-yard line. Pretty good field position for the Ticats to start their first offensive series of this third quarter.
Well, they need some breathing room right now. They've got the wind to their advantage. And Brock, as you said on this series here, it's a very instrumental series as far as the whole second half is concerned.
The big thing he doesn't want to do is try to get it all at once.
Well, Dieter Brock is experienced. He does have the patience. They've been throwing a lot of screens, not only in this game, but in their playoff encounters against Montreal and Toronto. He's trying to go for broke down the sidelines to Dwayne Jett. He makes the catch, but was out of bounds.
Well, I think we're going to see that he did go out of bounds on this, but I think that if Jett, in his concentration looking for that ball there, if he would have maybe checked the inbounds marker there, that he could have made the adjustment. He caught the ball and then never did look down.
That's pretty good coverage by the defender. You know what you always tell him? Run the ball, but the 5 yards from in the field to the sideline belongs to the quarterback. That's where he throws it to the sideline. It's up to the receiver to adjust.
Dwayne Jett activated for this Grey Cup game following the injury to Steve Stapler in the final with Toronto. Oh, Brock was hit just as he threw. The ball bounced up into the arms of a lineman, and immediately Tony Norman was there to make the hit. Now, that ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage. Brock, while he was in the process of throwing, was hit.
And I don't think at any time there was an eligible pass receiver connected with this pass. He got the ball jolted out of his hands, as you'll see right here just in a moment. When the ball, it hit an offensive lineman first, and then it reflected off of the offensive lineman to another one, so it was an illegal pass.
An illegal receiver, an ineligible receiver, as Aaron Brown, number 52, came burning through from his linebacking position.
Ineligible receiver, Hamel 54. Declined, third down.
Ross Francis was the player who caught the ball. Bernie Ruoff has been having problems with his punting. Not so much with kicking the ball, but with his footing.
I'll tell you one thing. I think in the war of the footing out here this afternoon, that Winnipeg is winning because Hamilton has really been slipping and sliding around. Well, Winnipeg has had pretty good success in keeping their footing.
Good kick by Ruoff. Kevin Nellis on the punt return is brought down at the 35-yard line. There's also a penalty flag on the play, and we'll sort it all out for you in just a moment.
Derek Jeter, humanitarian, leader, athlete, for the Movado Precision Timepiece Series 800. The art of performance. Movado Series 800.
What happens when designers imagine a refined sedan? While engineers craft a powerful sports car. What happens? You get something better than both. Introducing the all-new Nissan Maxima, the four-door sports car.
Richard takes it, slips a check, and now the rocket is off. He passes off to Gretzky, who cuts to the outside, into the corner, and behind the net. He's waiting. Richard cuts to the inside of the slot for the pass. He shoots, he scores! Richard from
Imagine
Gretzky.
two of the best together. Invesco and Trimark together. Look forward to investment opportunities you never thought possible.
We don't need multiple shipping companies to do one job. As VP Operations, I say we make things easier and use FedEx for everything.
As Senior VP Operations, I agree.
As Executive Senior VP Operations, I concur. Wilfred?
You gotta stay lean and mean. FedEx it is.
Here, here. Bravo, sir.
That's why he's the Chief Deputy Executive Senior VP Operations, Northern Hemisphere.
Tom Brady, strategist, athlete, MVP, for the Movado Precision Timepiece Series 800. The art of performance. Movado Series 800.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Willard Reeves and Pat Kaplan to the bench. A draw play with Willard Reeves, and he picks up about 3 or 4 yards. Rod Skillman, along with Ben Zambiazzi, made contact, and again, Willard Reeves is down. Willard Reeves missed 4 or 5 plays. He was replaced by Pat Kantner, but that shoulder obviously is still causing him trouble.
John Bonk doing a pretty good job on Skillman. Skillman just trying to find out where the ball is. He found it. And finally he gets in on the tackle. But John Bonk made the initial block on him to allow Reeves to get some yardage upfield and back 5 yards.
Al McCann is at that Winnipeg bench, and perhaps, Al, you can give us some indication as to what the initial problem was.
What happened with Willard Reeves, Don, is that terrible collision. He damaged his shoulder. He was in a lot of pain. The doctors checked him with the training staff, and I was surprised they let him go back into the ball game because he was asking to go back in, but he was obviously in tremendous pain. This could be it now for Willard. I think he's even injured it again.
Well, there's the initial one on the hit by Leo Ezrins, and then as we saw that time, he carried the football, and he just may not be able to go again. That would be a big blow, and as you say, he wants to go. Everybody wants to play today.
Pat Kantner is back in, 2nd and 5 Winnipeg. The ball is just inside the 10-yard line. Into the end zone for Jeff Boyd, incomplete. Mark Streeter came across and I believe got a hand on it. Streeter already with an interception in the ball game and a game-saving or a touchdown-saving knockdown.
Well, you see the ball. Let's see if he does get it.
It hit him right in the hands. I didn't think there was any contact with that ball. Tommy's a little bit upset by it, but Tommy will get him back in the huddle and say, don't worry about it, we'll get it next time.
Or else he'll say, squeeze it. One or the other.
Jeff Boyd should have had 6 in that one. The point after the field goal by Trevor Kennard, and that makes it a 33-17 game with 2:42 remaining in the third quarter in Grey Cup 1984 at Commonwealth Stadium.
Here you go. Thank you, Mr. Hines. I'll be right back with your check.
How often you check your credit? Chances are, less than you need to. Not a good idea these days. Your identity could be stolen faster than you can say heartburn.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. Come back and see us again soon. Thank you.
So keep an eye on yours all year long with 24/7 credit monitoring from transunion.ca. Stay you.
It's time to change the meaning of Taiwan On. Support Project Red Ribbon. Support safe, sober driving.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
That's Northlands Coliseum, the home of the Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers, and I'm sure many of the spectators at this afternoon's Grey Cup game were in the stands last night as the Oilers defeated the Vancouver Canucks 7-0. Peter Lougheed, the Premier of the province of Alberta, enjoying the game this afternoon along with the Minister of Sports, Otto Jelinek. Rufus Crawford on this kickoff return, upended at the 40-yard line. Pat Kantner was downfield to make contact with him.
There's a blow for the Winnipeg team. They're taking Willard Reeves to the dressing room.
A penalty flag on that kickoff return by Rufus Crawford, and the call will go against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Out in front, 33-17.
Major foul, Winnipeg number 52, piling on. First down.
Aaron Brown guilty of media piling on after the initial contact had been made. So it's 1st and 10, Hamilton. They are at the midfield stripe. On the sidelines, Rufus Crawford was unable to hold on to the Dieter Brock throw. Cal Murphy trying to win his 7th Grey Cup ring, 6 of them as an assistant coach, 1 with the Montreal Alouettes and 5 with the Edmonton Eskimos. And for Dieter Brock, despite the fact he has played 11 seasons in the Canadian Football League, this is his first Grey Cup game. Attempting to dump it off to Johnny Shepard, it falls short of the mark, and Hamilton again is forced into a kicking situation.
You know, Winnipeg has got a real respect for Dieter Brock and his throwing ability, but they also know that there's a young offensive line over there with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and they're doing an inordinate amount of blitzing this afternoon, and Dieter is, instead of reading that blitz and looking to the inside there, we see him right here, he just doesn't have time to get set up and throw the football. Winnipeg has got some people back there that can cover one-on-one.
Bernie Ruoff's punting was such a key in semifinal triumphs over Montreal and that final victory over the Toronto Argonauts. Gavin Nealis is stopped at the 24-yard line by Pat Brady. That kick traveled 36 yards. 33-17, the Blue Bombers lead the Ticats with 1:47 remaining in the third quarter.
Ron, I should say, as you referred to earlier in the pregame talk, Hamilton uses an awful lot of zone defense. Well, there's a guy there that hasn't got all his shooters either.
They've been in the zone all afternoon. I haven't yet to see them play man-to-man, even down on the 8-yard line.
I think down in his position like this, they've got to go after Clemens a little bit. They found out that he can hit those guys on the outside like this right here and just move the football, so they're going to have to go and get some pressure on him.
Well, little do we know, they went man-to-man right there, and the feeling is that their corners just wouldn't be able to cover Winnipeg's wide outs on one-on-one coverage, and you see how much cushion that Jeff Boyd had. He was wide open on the turn.
Well, Jeff Boyd, who dropped that touchdown pass in the end zone, picks up 8 as he takes it out of bounds at the 33.
Cal looks like he's a little riled up about something there, too. Cal, your game. Settle down.
The short yardage offense is in on 2nd and 2. The ball is at the 33. Don Clemens keeps. He got across the 35-yard line. That should be a first down, Winnipeg. 1:03 is the time remaining in the third quarter.
There's Mark Braggignol on the sideline, and a little reflection over there. He's a real competitor. His family is out here, his sister and his brother and his brother's girlfriend. And Mark told me before the game, he said, would you do me a favor and say happy birthday to my sister, Lisa? So, Mark, consider it done.
1st and 10, Winnipeg. The ball is at the 35. Sean Kehoe driving across the 40 to about the 43-yard line, stopped there by Ben Zambiazzi.
Again, you're going to see now Tommy Clemens has had all kind of success sprinting and rolling to one other, and because of that, the defense has got to come with an outside contained rush with a little bit more severity, and when they do that, it opens up those seams on the inside, and Kehoe and Reeves or whoever is in there at the time can make some yardage on that stuff.
2nd and 2, Winnipeg. The pitch to Sean Kehoe. He's still on his feet, but they rule that he had been stopped. He lost yardage on the play, and that is also the final play of the third quarter. So with 15 minutes remaining in Grey Cup 84, Winnipeg leads Hamilton 33-17.
You're watching ESPN Classic.
Play Happy Maniacs. Cool. That's impressive.
Get what you really want in the 2009 Ford Focus, starting at only $14,799.
People think life in California is one big vacation. It's really a lot of work.
We have board meetings.
Board meetings!
Lots of board meetings. We're always playing catch-up.
We're really just a bunch of pencil pushers.
We work with some real characters.
We're always working weekends.
We burn the midnight oil.
Hey, it's a dirty job.
But someone's got to do it. So if California seems like your kind of work...
We've got one question.
When can you start?
California. Find yourself here.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
An attendance record has been established this afternoon at Commonwealth Stadium. 60,081 taking in Grey Cup 84 as the Blue Bombers start the fourth quarter with Bob Cameron standing back on his own 25-yard line for this third down kick. Crawford will field it again at the 28, and he is decked at the 35. A 40-yard kick by Bob Cameron. And the former Prime Minister, now the Minister of External Affairs, Joe Clark, a native of High River, Alberta, enjoying the action, I'm sure, here this afternoon in his home province. First and 10. The Ticats at their own 35-yard line. Incomplete, intended for Johnny Shepard. He was decked immediately by Aaron Brown. It will be second down.
See, Winnipeg, Ron, is doing something that Hamilton won't do. They're coming with their outside linebackers. They're coming with an inside stunt, things like that. They're right up in Dieter Brock's face, and he's got to throw the ball in a hurry.
Well, especially there when Aaron Brown drops out of his linebacker position. As soon as he sees that back release, he was going. And boy, he put a good hit on Johnny Shepard right away.
Ron Johnson comes wide left. Dwayne Jett out to the right. Brock going down those right sidelines, and Dwayne Jett comes up with what should be a first down as he was forced out of bounds by Delbert Fowler. For a fellow who a week ago did not anticipate playing in this game, he's played a key role for the Ticats.
Well, you see, he just goes down and stands on the sideline. The quarterback knows where he is. He'll take the quick look downfield. If he doesn't have what he likes, then he throws it outside to Jett.
I'm surprised if Dieter doesn't do that more, too. Roll to one side and try to get a one-on-one on the other side. Go to Johnson and Jett on either sideline cuts or deep passes.
Tyrone Jones was all over Dieter Brock before he had a chance to set up.
That was one of those inside stunts that they used last week so successfully. They come inside the defensive end on that one, and that really put the pressure on. Nobody even touched him. Just went flying right past everybody and was right on him. No chance.
Boy, he is quick. You know who missed him? Mark Bragagnola stepped a little bit too wide, and when he stepped outside, Jones goes inside. Watch him. Bang, right inside of him.
Straight.
This morning at the hotel, all the other players were walking up the stairs to their pregame meal. Jones had an interesting comment, Ron, that you can tell us about as he took the elevator.
He said he was saving his energy. He's using it here this afternoon.
Penalty flag on the play as Johnson is open on the sidelines, and he goes out of bounds in front of the Winnipeg bench at the 48.
I think you're going to find the Winnipeg jumped the gun and they were offside. The pass should stand.
It will. Tony Norman was the one who jumped off.
Offside, Winnipeg, number 55, declined. First down.
So a gain of 21 on the pass completion to Ron Johnson, and it's first and 10 for Hamilton. They are now at the Winnipeg 48-yard line. 33-17 is the score, favoring the Bombers with 12:45 left in the game. Intended for DiPietro on the sidelines, incomplete.
Here's what Winnipeg likes to do. They love to play games up front. And watch right here. This is a linebacker right here. He will step in and eat up a block, and then Tyrone Jones comes around, and he comes right up the middle with nobody near him. But Dieter got rid of the ball quick. See, Tyrone Jones takes one step, and now the back can't find him, and he gets up in there. But that's a little bit too long. Dieter had time to throw the football.
You got the key right there. He's very, very difficult to blip, and when they get to him, they're going to put some physical damage on him.
Throwing deep for Crawford, incomplete. He was being covered by Ken Haley.
If Dieter keeps doing this, throwing the sideline cuts and then working deep with his receivers, he's going to hit somebody sooner or later. And when he does that, they can score in a hurry.
Well, he'll have to score in a hurry because time now is the enemy of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 12:20 left on the clock. 33-17 is the score in favor of Winnipeg. Bernie Ruoff, one of 10 ex-Blue Bombers on the roster of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, standing at his own 47-yard line for this third down punt. Kevin Nealess, coming down the sidelines, is decked at the 14-yard line after a 48-yard boot by Bernie Ruoff. 12:02 is the time left in the game. 3-17, Winnipeg lead.
Nissan Versa. It makes driving fun.
Government forecasts show that over the next 5 years, there will be 1.2 million new jobs created in Canada, and most will require specialized training. And thanks to ICS, International Career School, Canada's largest accredited school of independent study, you could train for one of these jobs in as little as 6 months. Choose any of these healthcare programs: medical office assistant, medical transcription, retail pharmacy technician, occupational therapy aide, animal science, or one of our other programs: accounting, business management, legal assistant, electrician, automotive technician, aircraft mechanics, interior decorating, teacher aide, child daycare management. You can even earn your high school diploma. Study at home, online, in print, or a combination of both. All the materials are delivered directly to you and included in your tuition. Call ICS now for free information. There's no obligation and the call is free.
Call 1-800-840-0159 or visit icslearn.ca. That's 1-800-840-0159. Call now.
New Altima. I hear they're pretty cheap these days.
They're not cheap. They're inexpensive. You cut your own hair. That's cheap.
You'll get passionate about new prices on every Nissan model, like the Altima, now from 2010-8. See your Nissan retailer today.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Okay, Tony Norman. Tony, only a few minutes to go. You going to hold on?
Well, yeah, I think we can hold on. I know Deep's going to go deep on us out there behind, but we just got to keep coming as a unit, stick together. I know that this is the biggest game of my life, and you know, it's hard for me to express it right now, but I'd like to say hi, you know, to my mom back home in Atlanta, Georgia. She's watching, she's sick. And I also like to say hi to a lot of my friends back in Winnipeg, JJ and Nadine and a lot of my buddies. But we just got to hold on for 10 minutes. Hey, we win the Grey Cup. I'm just so excited. Thank you.
The injured Winnipeg player being assisted to the bench is Kevin Nealess, and Willard Reeves is back in the ball game. He had gone to the Blue Bomber dressing room for further exam after injuring that shoulder. In that play, Sean Kehoe was the ball carrier, and he picked up 1, maybe 2 yards before being stopped by Priestner and Zambiazzi.
I thought Ernie Afghana said something that was substantial over there on the sidelines, and that is that Hamilton has not let down 1 ounce. And right down here with the field positioned to their advantage, a little mistake here by Tommy. He's got to play it pretty close to the vest down here, or they could be right back in this ball game.
On second down, Clemens getting good protection. He has the sideline completion to Jeff Boyd for a first down.
That's about as safe as you can get. He rolls out there, bides time, and makes sure that he can get it in there.
Sitting next to Doug Mitchell is Howard Pauly, the premier of the province of Manitoba. And like all Manitobans, enjoying what is taking place here at Commonwealth Stadium so far.
Well, you know, notice how gingerly he made that cut, and then goes and stands on the sidelines.
That's the thing that I had to look at too, Ron. He really was very careful with his footwork over there.
After that 16-yard gain on the 1st and 10, Willard Reeves breaks a couple of tackles, and he'll have 9. Stopped by Felix Wright.
Well, there's two plays right there that are just perfect plays for this time of the ball game and that field position. Number one, don't get yourself in a position down at that end of the field where you're going to make a mistake. So roll out, bide your time, and make sure you can get the ball in there for a short pass. Number two, let your running back with a good offensive line sustain the drive, and that's exactly what they did.
Don, while we have a minute, I'd like to wish my daughter a happy 25th birthday in Regina. I know she's having a party, and even Pat Marsden said to say happy birthday, Lan.
We echo that sentiment, too, don't we, Don?
All of us will say happy birthday to Lana. It's the price of a phone call, doesn't it, Ron?
Well, I talked to her this morning.
While we're going here, this program and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation and CTV is strictly prohibited.
Well, at the start of the year, Willard Reeves said that his goal in 1984 was to rush for 1,800 yards and win the Grey Cup. He didn't achieve that 1,800-yard target, falling just short, missing by 67 yards, but he may indeed have his name engraved on the Grey Cup. Felix Wright, who had those 4 interceptions in the Eastern Championship game, in the victory in overtime over the Toronto Argonauts, shaken up on the play. Mike McIntyre goes in. On second and short, Willard Reeves gets the first down.
Well, this is the ideal thing for Winnipeg right now. Ball control, keep it away from them. Just eat that clock up. If you put the ball in the end zone, fine. Don't turn it over. That's the big key for them right now. So far, it's going just the way they want it.
The only thing you got to tell is keep both hands on the ball and don't get it knocked loose. But they're in operating position right now. They're in the middle of the field. Tommy can do just about anything he wants to do right now, but just don't fumble the ball. Don't throw an interception.
9:47 is the time remaining. 33-17, Winnipeg leading. Clements will try and put it in the air, going deep for Murphy. He had to come back to the football, but makes the catch at the 30-yard line.
Well, I think that's the play that Murphy was telling us about before, Ron, that he wanted to get in. He wanted to get that seam pattern in, start in one direction, send Murphy right down the seam, and that's exactly what he did. I underthrew it a little bit, but he still made the catch for a very substantial gain, and it doesn't look too good for Hamilton right now.
36 yards on the pass to James Murphy, his third catch of the day. First and 10 from just inside the 30-yard line. Clements, hey, from the pressure. Throwing for Poplawski, and he makes the catch down at the 10.
That field might be hard, but that Poplawski will go get the football. Well, I'll tell you, he went out there, and you have to have great hands to hold on to that ball when you hit the ground. You want it to throw. Watch here. Watch him go out and get it.
You want to know something? In that semifinal game, or that final game, it was Poplawski that set the stage in the early stages of the game, made several real key catches to get them in a position where they were ready to win that football game. And here he is again. He can catch it.
And one thing, Don, he doesn't wear gloves.
19 yards the gain. It's first and 10 Winnipeg from just outside the 10-yard line.
Can't afford him.
Clements throwing into the corner, and coming back to the ball was Rick House, getting to about the 3-yard line. He had gone into the end zone, and as all good receivers will do, when he saw that his quarterback was in trouble, he came back.
Straight down the field, and he ran right into the defensive halfback. And then when Clements got in trouble, he came back. And that's the way you want to do. You don't want Clements to take too many hits on those ribs.
There'll be a slight delay as there's an injured Hamilton ball player. Felix Wright, who had returned to the game, is again heading to the Hamilton bench, being escorted by trainer Ray Jones, and McIntyre will come in.
When you're this close down there with the great job that Reeves has done all year, he'll probably get the football and they'll let him stick it in the end zone.
Willard Reeves with the call. Touchdown!
Well, they haven't stopped that play all day. Vernon Paul has done a great job when he comes in at that end position. And when they get going, Willard Reeves gets wound up and just straight ahead.
And nobody was cheering more for Willard Reeves to put it in the end. The folks sitting in the handicap section, and Willard Reeves sends the ball over to the Winnipeg Blue Bomber bench. And after the Bombers try the point after, Willard Reeves will send somebody up into the handicap section. The Grey Cup now being moved into position for presentation. And with Winnipeg leading 39-17, it looks very much as though it will go to the Manitoba Capital as Trevor Kennard makes it 40-17 with 7:37 remaining in Grey Cup 84.
Play Happy Maniacs. Cool. That's impressive.
Get what you really want in the 2009 FIS, starting at only $14,799.
I'll take it. Turn your Cadbury chocolate craving into cash. Win $150,000 or a $1,000 prepaid Visa card daily with Cadbury's Get What You Crave contest. Enter at cadburycrave.ca.
JVC Averio camcorder with 7-megapixel resolution to catch all the action. The JVC Averio includes a high-performance quality lens, up to 37 hours of hard disk recording, one-touch DVD creation, and it's fun and easy to use. JVC Averio, the perfect shot every time. JVC.
In this world, there are spenders and savers. But can the two ever meet? Yes, because now when you Scotiabank debit card, your purchases can be rounded up, and the difference is transferred into a savings account. It's called Bank the Rest, and if you sign up now with a Scotia One account, we'll match your savings up to $100. So you spend and you save. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
It's the Hockey Basics sale at Source for Sports. Save on Nike Bauer Supreme Elite gloves from $59.99 and the Vapor Velocity bag from $39.99. The Hockey Basics sale at Source for Sports. We know our stuff.
You're watching a Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Well, I'm sure that fella in the middle of the screen looks like a few of the Grey Cup celebrants felt this morning when the alarm clock went off. But the Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans are certainly enjoying themselves here in Edmonton. Large contingents of fans made their way to the Alberta capital, the city of Edmonton. And John Hufnagel, who came on in relief of Tom Clements in the first quarter, is now warming up at the Winnipeg bench, an indication that we will see Hufnagel before this game is over. Sean Keogh having an outstanding ball game, breaks this one all the way to the 27-yard line.
Well, that's just determination, no doubt about that. He bounced in there and bounced wide open. Let's watch him.
We were talking about dark horses before this game, Ron. That would have been a dark horse, wouldn't it? He's had a sensational game.
Boy, he's got some speed. Once he finds that seam, he almost goes the distance.
Well, the man who most often is referred to as Winnipeg running back picked up 29 yards in that one. Kehoe again inside the 25-yard line, stopped there by Rod Skillman, and it could be that Sean Kehoe already has one hand on one of those outstanding player awards in this 1984 Grey Cup game.
As we see Cal stand there on the sidelines, and you know the mark of a great football team, not a good football team, a great football team. It's a team that in a championship game can get 14 points down, then come back and do what they've done.
On second down, over on the far sidelines, it's Pat Kantner with a first down. Felix Wright forced Kantner out of bounds with 4:41 remaining, but it will be Winnipeg first and goal from the 7.
Will there be dancing in the streets in your hometown, Don?
I think there might be a little celebrating long into the evening, and of course, Bombers return home tomorrow evening at around 6 o'clock. They have plans for a big celebration at the Winnipeg Arena.
22 years is a long time.
Hufnagel in there, giving to Sean Kehoe, who fights inside the 5. Things started so well this afternoon for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A team emotionally high coming into this Grey Cup game after their underdog triumph against the Toronto Argonauts, and definitely playing the role of the underdogs coming into the Grey Cup game. 4 minutes and counting, the time remaining. Winnipeg, second and goal. Hufnagel.
Oh, he's wide open.
Throwing into the end zone. Touchdown. This time, Jeff Boyd hangs on.
Boy, Jeff Boyd was open about 15 yards in the end zone before Hufnagel saw him, and he finally got him the ball. The defensive guy almost got there to knock it down.
Well, the corner, defensive back, the corner tried to bump him coming off the line, and when you jump inside and you're home free, a little play action fake to hold the safety man Bennett, then find him, and Hufnagel does. He didn't drop this one.
We talked about Sean Kehoe's contribution. Trevor Kennard hasn't had a bad afternoon either. With the point after, it's Winnipeg 47, Hamilton 17. 3:50 is the time remaining.
The CFL on ESPN Classic is brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC. Well, you know, Vista's something of a hassle, but switching computers is an even bigger hassle. So even though you might have a better operating system, I'm not worried about losing any of my subjects to you. I'm still the king.
Well, actually, all your subjects have to do is bring their PC into an Apple store when they get a new Mac, and then Mac Genius will just transfer their files over for free.
Really?
Yeah, it makes switching kind of easy.
I banish you. You are banished.
Hola, este es el nuevo motor Rocket E8 de Motorola. Parece un teléfono, pero con solo tocar el botón. Usa la rueda de navegación para buscar entre tus contactos y si pones al modo musical...
People go out of their way to feel protected. With TD Insurance, you don't have to worry. Because we make it easy to protect yourself from the accidents of life. Get the insurance you need from the people you trust. TD Insurance. Home, auto, life, health.
Decorating or renovating? Use Homeworks home remodeling software and see how the job looks before you start, using actual photos of your home. Approved by the Canadian Home Builders Association, Homeworks is available only at Home Hardware Building Center, and Home Furniture. Homeworks features more than 2,500 actual products and a $25 home gift card with a project purchase. Before you start, use Homeworks and picture the difference. Only at Home Hardware.
Help is close to home.
Your Watch Football Hall of Fame weekend, brought to you by Movado, the art of performance.
Dieter Brock trying to dump it off to Johnny Shepard. It will be 2nd and 10. 2:40 the time remaining.
I think one thing we got to point out here, though, is that Hamilton never quit all afternoon. They were outmanned and outgunned. There was no question about that. They got off to a great start. Then they got behind in the ball game, but they never quit. And certainly Al Bruno doesn't have anything to be ashamed of. He brought that team along after a lot of controversy in the newspaper and a lot of suspicion about the coaching staff and everything else. They got him to this big game, and he deserves a lot of credit.
Pat Brady has replaced Henry Waschuk at center for the Ticats. Brock again under pressure, and that pass fell short of Rocky DiPietro.
Well, there's nobody more disappointed than that man, number 5, Dieter Brock. They talked to him yesterday and again today about his preparation. He felt this football club was ready to go. But you know what? You can only play so far on emotion, and then talent takes over, and Winnipeg's had the talent.
That's a good way to put it, Ryan. I think that capsules it pretty well this afternoon. They were just played against a much better football team.
This time it's Haley and Kehoe back to accept the third down punt by Bernie Ruoff. It bounces to Ken Haley. And he is stopped at the 42-yard line by Wayne Lee after a 49-yard kick by Bernie Ruoff. Right now, the Hamilton Tiger Cats want that clock to progress as quickly as possible from the 2:22 that still remains. Winnipeg Blue Bombers rather anxious to begin their official celebration as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cal Murphy has instructed Huffnagel to kind of modify his signal calling in here and kind of let the clock run out.
This is when it gets cold on the sidelines.
Sean Kehoe continuing to fight, and he has a first down. Sean Kehoe, along with Willard Reeves, a year ago, 1983, on July 2nd to be exact, traded to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And as I said, Sean Kehoe then considered the other running back. Tom Clements has been chosen the outstanding offensive player of the ball game after a very shaky start. He'll be getting the keys to a brand new car. First and 10 Winnipeg. The ball is at the 53. Again, it's Sean Kehoe fighting his way to the 50-yard line.
That's two running plays in a row, and you have to admire Cal Murphy for doing this now. He's letting them earn it the hard way if they're going to earn it.
This afternoon, Kehoe has carried 10 times for 71 yards. Defensively, Tyrone Jones, not really a surprise. Picked as the outstanding defensive player of the game. And he, too, will be receiving the keys to a new automobile. 1:56 is the time remaining. Winnipeg in front, 47-17. Palma, who earlier this year was with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, has replaced veteran Nick Vestaya at that guard position. Kehoe trying to get outside. He'll get another first down as he goes out of bounds at the 41-yard line, forced out by Paul Bennett. And Sean Kehoe, with the announcement just now in the public address system, is aware that he has won the award as the outstanding Canadian player, and he is being congratulated in the huddle by his teammates.
You know, it seems like a couple years ago that we used to say that Sean Kehoe, when he'd get in just every once in a while for Edmonton, looked like he had some ability. Well, he's had an opportunity to be in there now regularly, and he certainly is going to be one of the great running backs in the future in the Canadian Football League.
Sean Kehoe is certainly getting a lot of work over these final couple of minutes with 1:28 remaining as they celebrate this Grey Cup triumph, 47-17. They lead the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And we remind you, stay tuned for our post-game shows. We'll take you inside that victorious Winnipeg Blue Bomber dressing room. Sean Kehoe has picked up 86 yards so far. He'll add 4 more. I'm sure he'd like to finish the game with 100 yards rushing.
Boy, I'm sure he would. Sean Kehoe and Joe Poplawski coming back to Edmonton to play. To have the kind of game Kehoe's had here. He was an excellent and great running back at the University of Alberta. And boy, you know, he has to be happy playing in his hometown.
I'm not sure he ever had 100 yards since he's been playing in the Canadian Football League. And what a great time to have it in a Grey Cup. That goes down the record book. Boy, that you have 100 yards in the Grey Cup, that's pretty substantial.
Well, with 52 seconds remaining, it's 3rd and yard for Winnipeg. And this time it's Pat Kantner carrying the ball and getting the first down as he fights his way inside the 20, but then loses the football as Gerald Best stole it away from him.
Took it right away from him and picked it clean.
So with 38 seconds remaining, the Hamilton Tiger Cat offensive unit moves onto the field.
Boy, I bet you Al Bruno is breathing a sigh of relief, too, because it's a lot of difference in the overall score when you look at the newspaper and it's 47-17 if it's 54-17. 54 sounds like an awful lot more points.
Well, the Winnipeg
so
Blue
does
Bombers.
18. So does 18 when you're on the short end.
I was going to say the Blue Bombers have an opportunity to equal the Grey Cup record of most points in a game, 54. Jeff Tedford in at quarterback, his completion to Johnny Shepard. A gain of 9 with 33 seconds remaining.
And win or lose, it's nice of Al Bruno to put the young Tedford in there, because this Tedford kid is going to remember this game for a long time. He's had a chance to play in a Grey Cup game. Win or lose, it's a big honor.
2nd and 1. They tried to pick up the first down with Dave Braffey. He was stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure whether he made it. 19 seconds now remaining, and finally Cal Murphy is smiling. A very intent coach on the sidelines, displaying tremendous emotion all during the course of a ball game. But he's rather relaxed right now.
I'll bet he had some pulsating sensations in that early part of the ball game.
Well, this should be the final play of the ball game. 3rd and inches, Tedford keeps. He got to the 20-yard line, and that's it. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are Grey Cup champions from 1984, defeating the Hamilton Tiger Cats 47-17. And they say the mark of a true champion is the ability to come from behind. And twice this afternoon, the Blue Bombers had to overcome a 14-point deficit.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, the Hamilton Tiger Cats came out, jumped on the board early. It looked like they had things going their way, but the Bombers were just a little bit relaxed, a little too much. But boy, they got intent in that second quarter and just run off the points.
No, yeah, somebody does. Somebody has to.
Commissioner Mitchell waiting for the proper moment to make the presentation. There were a number of fans down on the playing field, and I think he's ready now.
On behalf of all of Canada and football fans everywhere, it's an honor for me to present to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers the Grey Cup, emblematic of the champions of Canada! Of Canada! Yes! 19 years!
Winnipeg. This is Grey Cup 84 from Edmonton.
To go. Here's Grissom on the quarterback speed, but he finds a hole, but he fumbles, and Argonauts recover on the Winnipeg 19.
A dramatic climax to the first overtime Grey Cup game.
McQuaid sweeping left, fumbles the ball. Reggie Holmes recovers for Calgary.
Classic relives some of the greatest games and moments from Yankee Stadium. Join us as we put on the pinstripes, revisit the significance of
Dallas Cowboys, Jason Campbell. You can see his development starting in this West Coast offense where he's starting to get an understanding. And anybody who's played in this offense, it takes time, and Jason Campbell's starting to develop very nicely for Coach Jim Zorn.
Tennessee's defense. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. 4-0 and every bit of it. San Diego, Jacksonville, Jets, several of the teams that are looking at a rough September, they don't have one anymore at 2-2. And Philly's 2-2. Andy, we went over this stuff at the goal. Whip, Marty, I thought we went over this stuff. Mort, let's bring you in on this stuff now to the Rams coaching situation. Not really a surprise that Scott Linehan out, Jim Haslett in. Now what happens in St. Louis?
Well, it's interesting because this is a franchise technically is for sale, even though they're not actively shopping the team at the moment. They certainly would listen to offers. So Jim Haslett is the coach. He has a chance to certainly be in the candidate pool for next year if this team is not sold. And I think we're going to see Mark Bulger reinstalled as the quarterback. But Listen, they plan to go forward with the search list as the season moves on. Again, Haslett would be a candidate. They'll probably shake up their front office, and I'm sure you're going to hear names like Marty Schottenheimer and Tennessee Titans defense coordinator Jim Schwartz and Mike Singletary of the 49ers and Jason Garrett of the Cowboys. You're going to hear a lot of names. But for right now, they just want Haslett to steady the ship. And as I said, I think Bolger will probably end up being the quarterback again.
No, Jim Haslett knows what he's doing. I don't know what kind of team he has. Well, we do know what kind of team he has, Mort. But Haslett's had some success as head coach before. Late news on the Jets. Eric Smith's helmet-to-helmet hit on Anquan Bolden, which put Bolden in the hospital. What's the latest, Mort?
He is suspended for the next Jets game, plus an additional $50,000 fine has been tacked onto that by Executive Vice President of Football Operations Ray Anderson. And he cites the September 17th memo letter that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the league, sent to all players, which is basically player safety is a priority, and that any unnecessary risk here was going to be faced with a fine or suspension. And when they reviewed the tape of this hit, they determined that, yes, Bolden was defenseless under their definition, that it was helmet-to-helmet, and that Smith did launch himself into Bolden. And so this is a big crackdown. This is the second player suspended in 3 weeks right now for under the player safety rules.
Okay, Mort, thank you. We'll see you a little bit later in the show. We have 90 minutes and still to come. Ray Lewis unmasking the Ravens' future Hall of Fame linebacker in his own words. The Steelers, Mike Tomlin, spinning in this week's soundtracks. And why Big Ben may be in the middle rush all night long. Plus, is it time to start waving the red flags in Dallas? Well, they only lost one game, but Emmett weighs in on his former team. We're just revving it up.
NFL Countdown on TSN is brought to you in part by Budweiser. Budweiser is a proud sponsor of the NFL.
Rule number 66. Trust your instincts. Number 83. Look opponents in the eye. Number 94. Pick your battles.
Infinity. Let the performance begin. Official sponsor of